yes, we show films. We think it's important to show films, but it's also important to bring together communities like this. I say it all the time. Since the advent of digital technology, the ability of people to tell their stories has become not super simple, but easier. It becomes a way, an avenue to bring people together, to say their story, and to raise film and bring community together to do like a canon of the arts. We've got the Art Basel doing the art, we've got the symphony, we've got the ballet, we've got film. And I would like to, oh my God, I love this woman. She is amazing in terms of like everything she does, her power, her authenticity, her soul, and the labor of love that went into this. I know you guys have experienced it in your body and your cells. So without further ado, Tiffany.
I'm going to be very brief because we have this amazing panel that's about to happen. I just want to acknowledge that my mom and my Dia are here, and the film is dedicated and created for them. And my grandmother, Ita, was a big part of the Peter Pan movement. Thank you for your gesture. My grandmother Ita was a big part of the Peter Pan movement here in Miami, and nurturing the Cuban diaspora. I'm here for come today. It's never happened to me. And my mom is a psychologist who's also dedicated her life to nurturing children and people. And I've never gotten this emotional. This is very strange. But I think it's who's in the room. And I'm just very thankful for the opportunity to share this film. And I want to thank Vivian and O Cinema that's been such a part of my development. And there's so many women in my life that have helped make this work. Celeste is here, Neighbor's here, the teachers in the current festival. And when we talk about women's empowerment, it's a very literal thing. And it's friends coming together to help tell your story, to be there for the institutional spaces, but also the spaces when you're heartbroken and exhausted. And there's a lot of people in the room. Carla Hill is here, who's a big part of this grant happening as well. I want to acknowledge her because having this Knight Foundation support is allowing this work to continue. And there's someone else in the room that I would actually like to stand up, and her name is Morgan Ware. And Morgan Ware is the producer of this film. Her foundation gave the matching funds to the Knight Arts Challenge. And even before these fancy public grants, for many years leading up to it, has been supporting me personally, in friendship, in healing, and institutionally. And when we talk about healing women, this is what it looks like. And it means so much that the Miami belly dance community is here, and I think maybe that's why my heart is so thirsted open. Because so many dancers from all over the world have donated the costumes, have called and emailed me and said, I have things for Cuba, what do you need? And these friendships are here. The panelists, I'm gonna let Naver, the moderator, speak more to who they are, but these are friends that I've had in dance since the 90s. And we're coming together to have this conversation. And that is also what friendship looks like and what empowering women looks like. So I want to thank the panel for showing up today and everyone that's in this room that has been a part of my life in the creation of this intellectually and emotionally and creatively, and just for being here to witness and to engage. So thank you all.
So I would like to invite the panel to please come join me here. I will introduce them, and then I will give some brief remarks in response to the film, only to frame and begin a conversation. It doesn't mean that what I say is what we have to talk about. So yeah, just to bring up some points to allow people a moment to gather themselves and gather their thoughts and channel their thoughts towards a logical conversation. So I would like to invite all the panelists to please come forward. Yeah. So Boženka and Miriam and Najma and Virginia and Maria. You're all invited down here. So I will start by reading their biographies, and then we'll read some brief remarks from me, and then open it up for them to respond to them, and then open it up to questions for you guys. So Boženka, born in La Habana, Cuba. Boženka's family migrated to Miami when she was 5.
Excuse me.
We have to get in the light. Okay. Raised in Miami, she was able to grow up with within a Cuban American exiled community that kept customs and traditions alive, allowing her to grow up as close to her homeland as possible. She grew up surrounded by the arts due to her father's position in Cuba as a soloist of the Orquesta Nacional de Cuba, and later here in Miami in the Miami Symphony Orchestra, which he was a founder of. Boženka started training in 1997 at the Mid-Eastern Dance Exchange and was under the tutelage of Tamerlane Dalal and numerous teachers, some of which are with us today in this panel. She was appointed artistic director of the Mid-Eastern Dance Exchange in 2004 to 2007, when the nonprofit was split from the studio and was appointed to Hanan and Boženka, then opened up her own dance studio. She has taught and mentored many of the dancers that make up today's Miami belly dance community. In 2003, she was asked to join the Belly Dance Superstars as a featured soloist and toured with a famous dance company for 5 years. Boženka's dance career highlights include choreographing for pop star Shakira for all of her world tours and 2 music videos, and being invited to teach and perform in over 60 countries in every continent. She has served, entertained, and mentored our community for 2 decades before relocating to Crete, Greece in 2010. She now teaches in her own studio by the sea and focuses on organizing dance retreats that delve deep into why we dance and the transformations that happen when people study Rex Sharkey and other derivations of Oriental dance. Maria Jamal is a formidable presence in the Mideastern dance world as both an extraordinary performer and a much sought-after master instructor and choreographer. Maria Jamal was born and raised in Morocco. She is fluent in the Arabic culture, customs, traditions, and language. She trained and danced ballet in Paris for many years. She has owned her own belly dance studios in Morocco, Canada, and Miami, and is one of the most popular and respected teachers amongst the top dancers in Miami. Among some of her students are Boženka. Oops. Oops. Oops, I think, I'm sorry. Oh no, I got it. My phone is, I am sorry. My phone is, yes, that would help.
I have the best teacher, students, so that's it.
No, I got this. It's just that I had. Never mind. I will continue. So I was on the students. She trained. Oh, here I'm ready. Okay. Among some of her students are Boženka, Samai, Hanan, Virginia, and Amar Gamal, just to name a few students throughout the world. Her uniquely vibrant style and natural interpretation of the music, she has danced for both the Rothschild and Saudi Arabian royal families. Maria has also performed in several films and television programs in both Morocco and in different Arabic countries. Her impressive career has encompassed performances and workshops in Geneva, Paris, Canada, Luxembourg, Cairo, in Ahlan wa Sahlan, Morocco, England, Japan, and Spain, and all over the United States. Maria's classes are intense and high energy and oriented towards perfecting proper Oriental technique. Her choreographic talents are constantly sought after by students, professional dancers, and many musical artists. Miriam Eli or Eli? Eli. Performs traditional Middle Eastern, Armenian, North African, cross-cultural and improvisational dance, and plays a variety of Middle Eastern hand drums and percussion instruments. She participated in the dance companies of New York's Serena, Morocco, Anahid Sofian, and Ahmed Hussein. She has received awards from the American Academy of Middle Eastern Dance and Broward County, as well as being selected Individual Artist Fellow and Master Teacher of Middle Eastern Dance by the Florida Department of State. For 9 years, she was pop rock singer Shakira Middle Eastern dance teacher, choreographer, consultant, drummer, recording artist, and touring musician. She has appeared on United States television playing percussion and as choreographer in programs including MTV and Saturday Night Live. She also studied flamenco dance in the US and Spain with Jose Molina, Manolete, Matilde Coral, and Elisa Rosal, and performed with the Boston Flamenco Ballet, Ballet Flamenco La Rosa, and at the Tablao Malaga in Miami, Florida. Miriam is dance and co-executive director of Harmonic Motion, which she co-founded with Udist singer, percussionist, and composer Jose Tunian, and with whom she has toured the United States, Turkey, Japan, and Latin America. Najma Noor is a dancer specializing in Middle Eastern dances as well as her signature flamenco Árabe fusion style. She's currently living in Gainesville, Florida, where she co-created Gainesville Racks, an event-driven initiative that brings visiting dance instructors in order to enrich Gainesville's local dance cultures. Najma's family has Cuban roots, and she was extremely pleased to be able to participate in the Havana Habibi 2018 trip to Cuba organized by Tiffany Madera. Najma is an activist for women's rights and freedoms, raising awareness for the National Women's Liberation, Afghan Women's Mission, the Revolutionary Association of the Women of Afghanistan, the Rape, Abuse, and Incest National Network, and the International Rescue Committee, among other organizations. She's also a survivor of sexual violence and believes in the empowerment of women through improvisational dance. And Virginia, the pure essence of Oriental dance. Considered to be one of the most influential and sought-after performers, a gifted choreographer, and one of the most profound master instructors of this ancient form, Virginia has been presented in the most prominent theaters and festivals across 5 continents and over 50 countries for 20 years, including annually to Cairo, Egypt for over 15 years. Invitations to their personal festivals include legendary Egyptians Mahmoud Reda, Yusri Sharif, Raya Hassan, Randa Kamel, Wael Mansour, Mohammed Shaheen, and more. Mahmoud Reda, the founder of the National Folk Troupe of Egypt, invited and presented Virginia, her performing company, and her first theatrical production, Amal Hayati, to be performed alongside his choreographic work at the Institut du Mundo Árabe in Paris. Since then, her theatrical productions have also toured in North and South America, as well as recently in Asia to sold-out audiences and critical acclaim. Having influenced, inspired, and challenged students worldwide, she has created 7 teaching DVDs, has produced 4 CDs of belly dance music, has presented 4 theatrical productions worldwide, as well as produced one of the world's most prominent international belly dance festival and competitions for 17 years. Rockstar. She has been featured globally in theaters, television, productions, magazines, newspapers, and films, including MTV, People Magazine, and Good Morning America. She's the founder of Com Dance and Rockstar Productions, as well as the director and choreographer for her award-winning professional performing company, Virginia's Wanur Alayun. Virginia has also created a teacher certification program based on her teaching in Miami for 25 years, providing the most comprehensive curriculum available today. She has also taught and choreographed for the Masters in Fine Arts program at Florida State University and has performed for the FSU Dance Sarasota program. Have to open another file, sorry. So what I want to do, I don't want to take time to talk about myself. But what I want to do is, as a mode of introduction, what I want to do is actually share a little bit of what has happened after the film. And I'm going to do that through a list of organizations, venues, and people that have been involved with the project of screening this film or with the events that have happened in Havana after the period of the film ends, as a way to give people an idea of how this has continued and how large it is. Because I don't think actually the film, after going there twice, the film doesn't do justice to the impact of this project, as overwhelming as it is. It doesn't. Or to the actual size of the community involved and the people affected by this project over time. So I'm going to read what I wrote. Okay. So first, I want to share a partial list of the people, educational institutions, arts organizations, the embassies, and community organizations that have been involved with this work now over the last few years, in order to highlight some of the impact of the film alone, both in Cuba and the United States, since it's been released. The impact of Hanan's work in Cuba is much greater and cannot be reduced to this list, because the impact of the project goes into people's homes, way beyond this institutional list. The list doesn't include community musicians, community members, house owners who have hosted guests in Cuba, not all over the dance companies and artists that have performed at the festivals and events related to this project, nor a total number of students who have gone through Gretel School, etc. So that's a list that I'm hoping to have another day. But I know the following groups that I'm going to mention have been involved in providing support, resources, or being collaborators. And this is a crucial way to give you a sense of the dimensions of the work that's not visible in the film. So the Egyptian Embassy in Cuba, the United Arab Emirates Embassy, the Qatari Embassy, El Museo de la Casa de los Árabes, where some of the later teaching scenes are recorded. Proyecto Palomas, a Cuban NGO dedicated to film and gender equality, working to end gender violence. Havana Dance Festival, a festival of street dance or danzas callejeras. Ciudad en Movimiento. Centro de la Danza. Compañía Rosario Cárdenas, who is a National Medal of Honor in Dance and who is someone that I had the honor of speaking next to last time I was there. La Fábrica de Arte Cubano, La Habana Vieja, the UNESCO World Heritage Site that gave the project permission to perform in public space. Espacio de la Danza Casa Gaia, a very special venue that hosted my very first workshop in Cuba 2 years ago. El Teatro Nacional de Cuba, which hosted our gala show last year. I feel like I'm missing others. I feel like the list is cut off. Oh, no, I'm good. Okay. The Afro-Cuban religious community in Centro Habana, the transgender community through a particular nonprofit organization. In terms of funders, the WARE Foundation, the Knight Foundation, Middle Eastern Dance Exchange, festival participants from around the world that the last festival and through the time of the project have been supporting Cuban dancers. The festival in 2016 averaged about 60 Cuban students, at least in my class. The festival in 2018 grew to about over 100 Cuban dancers in my class, and hundreds of community participants through Proyecto Palomas and their outreach programs, which include elderly women, LGBT women, and young people. There's also a number of affiliated faculty. I'm one of them. I'm a visiting professor of gender studies at Oberlin College at the present. Professor Celeste Landeros from Barry University, who's here. Professor Mia Leonin of the University of Miami. Also here in Miami and in the United States, Adriana Echeverri and Valerie Molinari here from Miami have supported and been involved in this project. Tamalin Dalal, based in New Orleans at the present. Myra Crean, based in Santa Fe, New Mexico. And Aubrey Hill, based in Los Angeles, were part of the faculty of the last festival. And Nash Manur as well, who's present here, of course. And several others of you who have been with us in trips, etc. So this is a partial list. And so the second thing I want to do is to invite the panel to respond to some specific issues, not to limit what we say, but just to get us started, okay? The film successfully provides an opening for looking into many different sides of the negotiations that creatives undergo when taking up a project, whether artistic, philanthropic, or educational, across the now proverbial, albeit porous, US-Cuba divide. The project is very specifically shaped by a US-Cuba political relationship, and the story of the film is affected by diasporic ideas about Cuba and its people. As people with a connection to the Miami Cuban diaspora and as dancers, I would love to hear your thoughts on those issues. What do you have to say as a diaspora dancer about what you witnessed in the film? And also, the film is about women's work, and it is about dance's potential to heal intergenerational trauma and dance's power to connect people across ideological and physical borders. Bureaucratic, political, and administrative challenges, which are a normal part of any project, get magnified when cultural projects and products are also understood to have political intent, meaning, or affiliation. Family history and intergenerational family trauma also come into play, creating a specific emotional and psychological environment to be overcome, both in an individual and collective level. The concerns about safety and loyalty outlined here collide with also the need to bridge painful histories of love and loss to find the humanity and sameness that lies underneath the veneer of political rhetoric. What thoughts emerge for you when you consider together family trauma and dance as a healing practice? So with these two broad provocations, I'm going to hand it over to you for responses. And it perhaps can just be about what you think about the film. Miriam?
Is this on? Okay.
Yeah.
I'll touch upon the diaspora aspect. And I wanted to point out that this dance has had a presence in the island of Cuba at least 100 years that I know of, because my grandmother and her sisters all danced at home. They didn't do gigs, but they did dance. They're the Sephardim, the Spanish Jews that came from Turkey, from the ex-Ottoman Empire. And there were a lot of immigrants coming from not just the Sephardim, but from the Arab countries, whether they were Muslims, Christians, or Jews. They all danced this dance at home. And I know because my dad used to always talk about it. I never got to see it because I left when I was little. But so that's kind of like a prequel to what Hanan, her project in a way, because I went back in 1995 and danced at a family party, and even though there had been the family separations due to the political climate, and this is already a few generations later, the family was still very aware of this dance and the music, and they got up and danced. But I also taught a workshop at the Centro Sefaradi, the Sephardic synagogue, and it was mostly my generation or the next generation, and they were learning and moving and having a great time, as Cubans know how to do. But the abuelas, the grandmothers, were sitting around the edges, and they were maybe a little older than me, and they were probably born in Cuba, but their parents came from Turkey. And you could see their eyes really glowing, and they were dying to get up. So I got them up, and sure enough, they knew how to dance, and how to shake everything. They knew all the movements. And they were so happy and so joyful, and that someone brought it to them because it brought back memories. So, but because of the political climate, the families got separated. So this dance that was passed on for many, many, many generations, hundreds, thousands of years, whatever, at that point probably got cut off, and because people split up. And here comes Hanan and takes the island by like a storm, brings it back and really, really brought it out and back to the front. So thank you, Hanan.
Well, I would like to celebrate and commend everything you've done. I think this was really very surprising for me, a lot of it. And you put your heart and soul on your sleeve. You put yourself in risky positions, both politically, on a human level. What you shared with us and the world and the public and your students and just women in general took so much courage. And I've always respected you, and I think I respect you like 100 times tenfold for the work you've done. This is groundbreaking work. This is something I haven't seen touched within the Oriental dance community at all. And You've obviously done things, but yeah, I'm so impressed by that. The other thing I wanted to touch on is, yeah, the difficulty politically and so on. I myself have never gone back to Cuba for reasons of great human rights injustices to people in my family and what they endured there. And for those reasons, I completely can see where your parents are coming from at times. But the fact that this dance, and dance in general, crosses all borders is really a celebration of life, a celebration of our femininity. And the healing processes that this dance and many dance forms I see can do for people for many different reasons, for injustices, for different things women go through, and what this dance can do for them is amazing. And this is such an example of how far we can come and how much we can do to heal each other and to heal ourselves and to heal the community and to heal the world and to bring back the humanity in all of this, whatever the political strife is or whatever the political current is happening, that you've taken that leap of faith and crossed that border to bring this kind of healing process and discovery for these women in my homeland also, although I was born here. I commend you highly and have great respect for you, and thank you for doing that.
It works. Special thank you to Hanan, because I was surprised the first time I see this movie, and I am not from Cuba, and all the time I hear about Cuba, I don't want to go, because the rights, it was completely out for women, for men, for kids. And also for me, wherever I go different countries, I visit, but just Cuba, it was for me, it wasn't a no. And I have students, I have friends from Cuba. I respect them because they respect and also courage to leave this country, come back here and start up completely nothing. And I was surprised, I very much surprised. I was tears because I said how that can happen. And big applause for you, because you did a lot. And for so many years, I think 7 years. 15, no, 7 years. You start, you came back, correct? And you have something happen to you, and I was not aware also in New York, and it's a lot. Another side, belly dance, because I am born there, and it's where I'm born. We dance all the time. That dance, exactly you describe, it's healing. I heal myself. Wherever I go to dance, whatever happened yesterday, 1 minute before, I is out. I teach, I dance, and dance. The teacher students tell me, "Thank you, Maria." I said, "No, thank you," because they make me forget completely whatever I have. It is so important. I see in my country the ladies coming so fast. They're running for. We have no 1 hour, 1 hour and a half. It has 45 minutes, and I cannot miss it. And up to 35 years and plus, I'm teaching, and I understand them now. I said they have their own problem, and belly dance for me. When I see somebody dancing, I can tell you, the book is completely open for me. I can tell her what she's go through, what she has in that house, what her position too. It's amazing, because I said again, belly dance, it's my passion, and I have no word to describe. Thank you to bring all these people to see this, and I regret because not see it before. I am seriously. Thank you very much. Thank you.